Lies on top of lies that Americans believe about people living in the UK. Okay, we're going to dive right into this one. Welcome, welcome, one and all. So, what we're checking out today is 7 lies Americans believe about life in the UK. And Mandy is bringing this one to us. The name of our channel is the Hickson Diary. Link in the description below. Please go over and show her some love. All right, so let's dive into this one and find out these 7 lies that Americans believe about people living in the UK. Welcome, one and all. Here we go right about now.
7 lies Americans believe about life in the UK.
Okay.
It's not that they're in love with queues. Most Americans that are watching this don't even know what the hell a queue is.
I can understand that. The
Please
Hickson
know
Diaries.
that everything you think that you know about Britain is completely wrong. Well, okay, not everything, but there are 7 myths Americans like to spread as if they're gospel about British culture, and I'm here to debunk every single one of them.
Okay.
Number 1, everyone drinks tea all day long.
No.
Okay, so the reality is this is kind of true. There is a lot of tea drinking that happens here in the UK by far, and there are those who drink many, many cups of tea a day, but there's also a bunch of British people that actually don't drink tea at all, and some who would prefer coffee. I know, it's kind of weird and unusual from an American's point of view. They also drink these juices. They're kind of like flavored water.
Oh, like the Ribena?
Squash and Ribena, and they're like unconcentrated juices that you pour into a glass of water. A lot of people drink stuff like that as well. The whole tea thing here isn't necessarily about the fact that they drink it so much. It's that it's more of a lifestyle and a habit for them. It's more about the ritual and the taking time to just think things through a little bit and just taking time to relax and reflect. So it's not that the tea culture isn't prevalent here. It's just that it's not everybody. It's not just tea, and it's not all day long. Myth number 2, Brits love.
That makes a whole lot of sense. And well, you know what? A lot of Americans believe a lot of things about other countries. So I don't see it as far-fetched for them to think that everybody loves tea in Britain. Everybody. That's all the British people do. Drink tea and a lot of tea all day long. So I can see why she say that. But to me, I'm like, common sense tell you, not everybody that lives in a certain country is going to like everything food-wise for that country, or there's going to be some form of misconception of something when it comes on to certain things, because they're like, oh, everybody loves the national dish. No, but you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. Of course, not everybody going to like tea. Some is gonna like coffee, like she said. Some is just gonna like those the ones that you dilute with water, like the squash, the Ribena, and I love me some Ribena. But it's weird when people think it's crazy that, oh, you're from Britain and you don't drink tea. You don't drink tea. You drink coffee. You guys know about coffee too. I'm like, duh. Of course they're going to. Of course they're going to know. So I get that. Let's move on to number 2. British love to queue. This is a big one too. This one, a big one here. You always hear, not a lot of persons know that it's called the queue, because I did not know that. I'm one of them that is guilty of. But they like to say, oh, people in the UK, British people like to stand in line, period, wait in line. So this one,
Queues, if you're American, means lines, waiting in line, basically. It's not really that they love queues. It's that British people are extremely polite and very aware of public spaces. The queuing thing is part of all of that. Mm-hmm. It's basically, why are you not waiting your turn? Why do you think you're special? Why do you think that you get to go first when we've already been waiting online? It's more about them just being organized and polite. Politeness, I think, is more something that British people love, and this in their DNA, more so than cues. They don't necessarily enjoy it. It's not something that they're super gung-ho and hyped about or anything. It's just that you queue, you wait in line, and you don't try to cut the line. And if you do, you are very apologetic and aware of it, and you make your way back the backup line immediately. You will get called out on this, and it won't be fun. Myth number 3.
So that a big one. It's not nobody love to wait in line, but yes, American has the misconception that British people love to queue. But it makes sense. It keeps things organized. It's to say, listen, not because you think you're the up and it up, you mean to you just cut. And I thought this is just having respect for the other person who was already waiting. So I am on board with that 100% when it comes on to queuing. And I think a lot of places need to adapt that sense of, look, I'm not more important than the next person that is here waiting, and I need to work my turn. And I love the fact that you guys put them into their places if they cut the queue. And yeah, we don't like it. You don't belong here. We've been waiting. It's not that we want to stand here in line and wait, but it's the right thing to do. Ain't nobody loves standing for a long period of time to wait their turn. No, but guess what? We do it because we respect everybody else's time, just like how they respect ours. Americans don't seem to understand or grasp at that at all, and I cannot understand why. For the love of me, I don't understand why. It's respect for others who are waiting as well, because their time is just as valuable as mine. Whether you're a celebrity, it doesn't matter who you are. Wait your backside in the line. Put yourself in the line and wait your turn. Number 3, it always rains in Britain.
It's constantly raining. Yes, it rains a lot more than it did in New Jersey, but it's not really apocalyptic rain. So in New Jersey, we used to have a lot of severe weather patterns, right? It would rain and it would rain for 3 days and it'd be very heavy, soaking, flooding kind of rain. And then it would be really sunny and hot for 3 days. And then it might rain again for another day or 2. Here in the UK, the weather patterns change so rapidly, pretty much throughout the day. Like the morning is going to be different from lunchtime, is going to be different from the afternoon and evening commutes. But because it changes so quickly, it's usually not really heavy rain. There are periods of heavy rain, especially now in the we're going into a wetter season in the fall/autumn and going into the winter season. But most of the time, I think it's that like steady kind of damp feeling. That's why I think people think it always rains here in the UK. It's usually just until drizzle. It's never ever a perpetual flood, which is much more common where I'm from in the US. Number 4.
Okay, guys, because I thought I was having tech issue on my end. Mandy, you have me over here thinking I'm the one that having tech issue, but it's okay. We're still gonna watch this video through and through, and your girl is still here to check it out. But yeah, that's one thing that I've heard, and it's not just being an American that you believe that it rains constantly in the UK. I've heard that even in Jamaica, when I was living in Jamaica, all it does is rain in the UK. It rains nonstop. But then I come to realize after watching all these videos, that's not the case. Yes, the weather is bipolar there, but it's not this constant heavy pouring of rain that you cannot do anything. You have to stay indoors. It's so heavy that, you understand, everything stop and life doesn't go on. That's not the case. It be raining 5 minutes, sun come out, then breeze, then that's how the weather is. And a lot of Americans really do believe. That's one lie that they do believe, that or something that they believe, that it rains constantly. And if somebody doesn't tell them or they don't do the research for themselves, they wouldn't know that that is not the case. Okay, guys, so I was guilty of that as well. And I'm glad that it's all cleared up, because, yeah, and it's not always foggy. That's another one as well that Americans believe, or a lot of people on the whole believe about the UK. Number 4.
All houses look like castles. This was one even before I met my partner, I never really understood, because there's no possible way everyone could live in an estate home or a castle, right? Yep. And American homes are huge compared to the average equivalent here in the UK. So I never really understood why they always seem to think that's what they looked like. You get a big house in America, it's the dream house. You get the big manicured lawn with the extra bedrooms and fireplaces and dining rooms that you don't even use. The reality in the
True.
UK is homes are much smaller. Maybe you get a closet, and maybe you get a small patch of grass. But they call it a garden because it kind of is only big enough to be honest. But they're not castles, guys. They do have the old, where I am anyway, most of them are Victorian looking and definitely something out of like Mary Poppins look. But you're never going to get the square footage that you get in the US by any means. You're going to be very lucky to have a yard. Really, people just make the most of the space that they have. Even though it is tiny, you do get a sense that you're in kind of a medieval, mythical kind of story. And I know that's like an ideological idea from an American point of view, but I can't help it. But the good thing about living here is even though your home's maybe a little bit tinier, there are castles and estate homes everywhere. Absolutely.
Yes.
Go and explore to your heart's content. Just don't expect to live in one. Myth number 5. Everyone drives on the...
Okay. This one, that one, that one. Okay, whichever one it is. The one about everybody living a cat. I've never heard that before. And I'm like, come on, stand that is not possible. That couldn't be the case. Because me, growing up in Jamaica, I used to hear that the houses are mattress box style. It may sound weird to you guys, but that's what I heard when I was in Jamaica as a youngster. That the houses are mattress box, meaning that they are small and there's not much space to them based on how they built from back in the days. And it makes sense. You understand me? And the more I've come to dive in and love the UK and learn about life there and you know the houses, how they're built and why they were built the way that they're built, it makes a whole lot of sense to me that they are smaller in space and nothing like the US. The US have huge... Why would Americans believe that everybody live in a castle? That don't make no sense to me. That one caught me off guard. But I wasn't born here, so she has more experience dealing with people and talking to people than I do, her American counterpart than I do. So I'm going to run with what Mandy say on this one, but I'm like, common sense tell you that is not possible. But the history is so rich, and every crevice and every corner you turn, there's history, there's castles, not as far as the eyes can see, and places to go, there's a castle. That we don't have here in America, that's for sure. And that I definitely would love to experience and see for myself, because I'm like, oh, yeah, that got to be a spectacle for me just to see a castle itself. Didn't expect to live in it. Can you imagine how to maintain? No. Yeah, let's move on to the other side. It's driving on the left is impossible. No, it's not.
Left? And it's impossible.
Americans do believe that.
I have to admit, completely intimidated me for a really long time. Especially because the first time I tried driving, like officially, when we first moved here, I sideswiped a brick wall and it definitely damaged our bumper and everything. I was completely mortified. And I was very disenfranchised with driving after that for a long time. And it still does intimidate me a bit, but it is manageable. I get the scariness of roundabouts. I get the scariness of trying to parallel park. Trust me, I failed it in my US driving test. Once you get the hang of it, like once you get over that initial obstacle, it's an easier adjustment than a lot of Americans realize. The real challenge for me is the narrow country roads, pedestrians who will glare at you if you're not polite and wave back, and definitely trying to find parking where you're not going to hit any cars or the curb or hold up traffic for longer than a few minutes. Those seem to be my weaknesses. Those are more intimidating to me than actually driving on the left side of the road. Life is...
Look, I'm like, Mandy, you're guilty on that one. Holding up traffic for a long time because the parallel parking, this is not your friend. It's not my friend, but lately I've been backing up into spaces. I've been parallel parking a whole lot because I'm like, I need to master this. So that's what I've been doing. I did it on my driver's test and I wing it and I did pass because that was one of the requirements. But driving on the left, yes, that one I can see. Americans do believe that that lie for sure. They're like, it's impossible to drive on the left. Come on. It's just like you driving on the right. The difference is they're driving on the left. There's nothing hard. When you get used to driving, do it a couple times, then you'll be like, oh, it's like 1-2. It's just that I'm on the left side of the road. And it's that simple. But yeah, she's spot on with that. Americans really believe that it's impossible to drive on the left. I'm like, no, it's not. Really not. Life is cheap and uneventful. I heard that too. I really do hear that it is not cheap, but uneventful there.
Cheap. This is a little bit about perspective, and I'm not going to lie to you guys, because in my experience, it is much cheaper to live here in the UK overall as far as cost of living is
But that's
concerned.
good.
As far as food, as far as clothing, as far as things to do, all of that is much, much cheaper than the cost of living in the US. Of course, the housing is a huge exception because there's spaces at a premium, and if you want space, you're going to pay for it.
Yep.
That's what it's like living on an island, and it is a little bit unnerving for me as an American, especially because I'm quite cheap just overall. But I just deal with it, because the trade-off for me is free healthcare, decent public transport, better work-life balance, and the American dream that I was not able to find when I was living in the US. So sometimes you pay a little bit more, but you live a little bit better. So for me, it works. But to say that life in the UK is cheap or not rich, I just don't see it. It's full of culture, and it's so rich and ripe with activities and history. There's always something to do. So cheap is, I guess, a frame of mind.
An understatement.
I guess that's where we land on this one. Myth number 7.
So that one right there got me. I'm like, cheap, uneventful? Come on. There's so much to see and do. To me, you can never get tired. You can never get bored, because there's so much to do when you're there in the UK. That for me in itself tells you there's no way it can be uneventful. Cheap in a sense that there's a difference between the economy there and the economy here in the US. So that makes a whole lot of sense. And of course, life needs to be affordable for one when they move to certain places or live in certain places. Cheap doesn't mean it's not good either. And I think a lot of Americans don't realize that. Doesn't mean things are cheap, or doesn't mean it's not good or it's not good for you. That's not the case. But yeah, I've heard that, and Americans do believe that lie indeed. But you have to come and experience things for yourself in order for the veil to be lifted from your eye. Number 7, British people are always polite, sweet, and proper. Hey, where they got that from? Where they get that from? I want somebody to tell me what lie.
All Brits are polite, sweet, and proper. Yes, it is true that British people are very polite. They like to smile, they will queue, and they will definitely apologize to you if they run into you, or if they feel they've slighted you in any way, even if it was your fault. But you have to remember the key thing about British culture overall. Sarcasm runs much deeper than the Thames does. Ask a Brit for directions. Of course, they will help you along, but they will probably make some kind of underhanded remark about you being some silly American who doesn't know where they're going, or something about like no Americans or tourists know what to do outside of London, that kind of thing. I've heard that before as well. Take it in stride. They don't really mean it. Trust me, if they're insulting you, you're gonna know they're insulting you. The British sarcasm and the British humor, I feel, are quintessential British culture, and I absolutely adore as an American living here. And I've even come to convey a turn of phrase or two in my time living here. So British people are polite and sweet and proper, but usually if they're polite and sweet and proper, they either don't know you or they don't like you. When they start being unpolite, not as sweet and not as proper, that's when you know you've made a real connection. Overall, the truth about living in the UK is really a balance between disappointment and utter freaking delight. The coffee is definitely not as strong as some of the coffees that we get in the US, although some British people will definitely argue with me about that. The food portions are tiny by comparison, and the weather is definitely much more unpredictable. But
I'm going to pause there before I forget my thought. The food portion is not necessarily tiny. Based on how I look at it, I see it as just right. We just go big and go home with everything in the US. When she said that they're not when they're not being polite and thing, if that shows that you're a part of the clique, that they like you, because they'll roast you and know that they're being sarcastic, and it's not meant to be rude. It's you understand? You're a part of the clique, like I said. I get that one. But Americans don't really get that. And if you don't understand the British culture and the customs and stuff, then you're going to have a big problem. And a lot of people like to impose what they know in their country in another country and think it's supposed to run that way and people are supposed to behave that way. Let me put that there. And that's one of the reasons why they'll make a lot of remarks when it come on to, just another dodo bird American tourist, or my dodo bird is my words, and another stupid old one. That's what that's what I'm saying. Or just another American tourist that thinks they know everything and anything about where they're at, the location that they're in, if they're in London, or you know what I mean, Edinburgh, or whatever it is. And so I see where she's coming from with that. And I do think Americans do think and behave that way. But at the same time, I really believe that you guys are polite and nice. And I don't think you guys are mean. It's like, it's just that Americans on a whole don't believe in personal space, or they just see a person and they just start talking. And it's just, that's not your way of life. You understand me? So that's how I see it. That's my input before I finish this.
For some reason, I just wouldn't trade it for the world. I love living here in the UK, despite all of these things that I've had to adjust to my mindset and all of these myths I had to overcome while living here. Some Americans just love romanticizing Great Britain, but the truth is it's smaller, it's a bit slower, and it's definitely quieter than you would ever imagine. But guess what? That's exactly why life works so much better here. So, curious about what you all think of any of these. If you're a native British person, what's an American myth about your country that drives you absolutely crazy? And if you're an American watching this, what's one thing about the UK that you wish was true and maybe you found out wasn't? And subscribe if you want some more reality checks about what it's really like living here in the UK. Catch you guys in the next one.
Bye, Mama. No problem. I need to think about that. What? I haven't been yet, but I know when I visit, I'm going to have my one thing that I wish was true about the UK. Maybe not, But overall, from what I've seen and what I've learned, I love the UK. I love the culture. And I've never been. That's the crazy thing. I've never been, and I love everything that I've learned and seen so far. Don't get me wrong. I know every country. I know every country has its up and down. It's good, it's bad. I'm not naive. Don't get me wrong. I am not. But I will say this. I love what I've seen so far. Can't wait to come and experience it for myself. Can't wait for you guys to show me around and say, Island girl, listen, this is this. Let's go here. Let's have a pint. Okay, let's go down here. Let's go and check out this castle. Let's go check out this museum. You see what I mean? Like, come and have a ball. Like, let's go to this garden, or let's go to this what do you call it? Garden center. Let's try this. Let's eat this. Let's go here. Let's go look at this castle. That's the experience I want when I get there, to be for just like how I see it in the videos. That's my expectation. You understand me? And I don't want anybody to spoil it until I get there and see and experience it for myself. And there are indeed so many lies that Americans do believe about life in the UK. And a lot of people are not going to change because they don't take the time out to do the research or look at videos like how I would sit here and watch this, or I'll, do my research and say, oh, all this time I believe this and this is not the case. You understand me? So that's understandable. So I enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts on this one. Do you agree with what Mandy said, or you're like, nah, I think she got it wrong, or I think she got it right? You know what I mean? Or what are your take? Leave it in the comment section. Let me hear your thoughts in the comment section. That's what I should say. It's your island girl, and I'm running out of here. Be good, be kind, and yes, be safe out there. Love you guys to the max. Thank you for always supporting. Don't forget to slap the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're new here, and welcome if you do. And I think that's it, your girl. I think that's it, your girl. We'll definitely catch you guys in another video. Love you guys. Bye. And sorry about the technical difficulties on Mandy's end and on my end, if I have any.